Yes.
Oh, this is the perfect place to hide. Big glass box. Nobody will ever find it. Get it. You've got to be kidding me. Legendary warriors. The powers that created us. Now one is all extinguished. We must join forces.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Wrestling on Leon the King TV. Welcome back to Let's Talk Wrestling. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button. Whatever you do, please, please hit that subscribe button. But today we are talking about it. Money in the Bank is coming up soon. We're kind of booking the show and doing fantasy booking. Basically, my thoughts on this is I believe from what happened at Night of Champions, we are getting Roman versus Jimmy Uso for the WWE Undisputed title at Money in the Bank. This is a match I think is going to happen, and we're going to be talking about it today. So, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel for the best pro wrestling content. And today we're going to be talking about it. This could be honestly one of the best matches of the year. I didn't say the best match, one of the best matches, because basically we are getting a Bloodline versus Bloodline member match for the first time ever since the faction had started. So I think that to see Bloodline member versus the Bloodline makes perfect sense. And I think that this could be athletically one of the best matches of the year. The athleticism of the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, knowing how Jimmy is in the ring, his athleticism compared to Roman's athleticism, this could be an excellent match. This could be 5 stars. So I think I honestly don't want to see another tag match. I don't want to see a tag match where Roman teams with Solo to take on Jimmy and Jay, which I think is going to happen soon. But I think the match that we really need is Roman versus Jimmy at Money in the Bank. It's what it's kind of leading to. It's what makes the most sense. And I think one-on-one, and you book it as a street fight. You book this match as a street fight, and it makes the most sense. The 6-man Money in the Bank match. We have to kind of see, basically who qualifying. I want to check who's qualifying for these matches. Hold on. The big rumor is LA Knight might be Mr. Money in the Bank this year. I think it's actually a good move if they're rumoring towards LA Knight getting the briefcase for Money in the Bank. This is basically a good move on a lot of parts, because I think that LA kind of, if you really watch LA Knight and his promos, his in-ring work, you go back and you go on Peacock and you watch his SmackDown debut, he's basically Razor Ramon. He's the modern day Razor Ramon. He's like, he can cut a promo like Steve Austin. So the thing is, he has that 80s, that 90s old school pro wrestling gimmick that's missing in wrestling today. And he kind of brings that nostalgia to the company. He brings that nostalgia to WWE right now, to wrestling. So if anything, I'm not trying to hype him up, but I think that he's one of the best they have right now. And I think that character wise, promo wise, athleticism, in ring work, he can go and he could probably be a great champion, possibly. But these are things that, like I said, fantasy booking it, he'll go over. I don't see him cashing in on Roman, but I see him cashing in on Seth. Um, I see him cashing in on Seth and going to Raw. And when he cashes in on Seth, I think that the perfect title for him is that World Heavyweight title on Raw. And that's the title he needs to hold, not the Undisputed title. The Undisputed Universal title, no. But I think that the World title, yes, makes perfect sense. And if you're going to push someone like LA Knight, then yes, I think that having him cash in the World Heavyweight Championship makes the most sense. Um, I got a feeling this Bianca Belair Oscar feud is going to carry out. It's a horrible feud, in my opinion, but I just think, why are we still trying to get this? We should move on to a whole new feud with new people. This is kind of not making sense. Um, a new feud is something that's needed right now in this, since WrestleMania 39. Um, we're still getting Bianca and Oscar, and I don't know. I don't. I do see a rematch at Money in the Bank happening. I just don't think it's needed. Um, you know,
You, you, step forward. Your science will be responsible for humanity's extinction.
Right. I know that you're sensitive to this whole bioethical dilemma.
Maybe all he wants to hear you say is that something should never be invented.
We'll lead you out of the city. Get that seed safely to the hills. Use this car.
You almost ate me. I'm good.
Get out of my city. No one like that now.
What did you do?
I don't know. I don't know, but it's an issue.
You press a button? I think it's off.
I don't know.
The thing is beeping now, so you must have picked something. I think it's off. I don't know. The problem starts beeping. That might signal the problem.
I'm just saying that it's a steady blinking light. There could be a timer sometime. Unless it's signaling location.
No. There you go. We gotta call the central government for help.
What's it going to do?
Go on, right?
Focus in the stride. Come to me.
So back to the bloodline. Um, I think this is we are kind of nearing an end for the bloodline. I do think Solo and will be Roman's right hand man with Paul Heyman. I can see that happening, and then you have Solo Sokoa basically being like the, let's say, Ric Flair to Triple H back in the Evolution days years ago. That's kind of how I see this. You got, Solo as your Flair. You got Roman as your Triple H. So that's kind of how I see this. Solo Sokoa will be still with Roman. Wow, the Usos split up doing their own thing, back to being the Uso Penitentiary, back to being them, and goes on and being their own tag team and quits the bloodline. So that's how you break them up. That's how you break them up. So I do believe the bloodline is over. I do believe that we're going to get a tag team match at SummerSlam where it's the Usos versus Solo and Roman. And that I believe is going to happen at SummerSlam as the main event. Um, as we know, Baron Corbin debuted on NXT about a week ago. And he was on NXT last night and cut a promo. But we know that he's brought back to NXT. And I believe we are getting the Lone Wolf again. We are not getting Happy Corbin. We're not getting Constable Corbin. We're not getting these other goofy gimmicks that we got in the past. We are getting the Baron Corbin that he always needed to be. And that's the end of days, the Lone Wolf, Baron Corbin. So Baron being on NXT, I think is a great thing. It's a great move. Let's repackage him. Let's get him going. Let's book him serious and let's book him in matches. And hey, potentially let's get an NXT title around him. So I think this feud with him and Hayes, this is actually good. This is perfect booking with him and Carmelo Hayes. Could he be NXT champion? Oh, 100%, of course. I believe it's going to happen. I believe it's a good move for him. And you make this guy, I mean, he barely could cash in Money in the Bank back in 2017. And now you got him doing this other stuff. He's JBL is his manager at one point, and you put him in a hat, new attire. It just got bad. So they have to really find. I'm happy that they're doing this with Corbin because they're going back to making him serious and making him important again. And when he gets back on that main roster, we are going to see probably the best Baron Corbin we've ever seen. And this is for someone who's a former NFL player, a former Golden Glove boxer. For an in-ring competitor like Baron Corbin, this makes perfect sense to have him back on NXT. So I'm excited for this. Carmelo Hayes versus Baron Corbin. And wait a second.
Autobots, get this bomb over the bridge and out of the city.
Yeah, NXT Great American Bash. I believe that's the next pay per view, premium live event for NXT. Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes, NXT title. Let's go. Let's get it. That's the match I want to see. So when you look at, let's say, um, WWE's women's division, it's probably at a somewhat a worse right now. It's not like it was, like I said before. WWE's women's division is not like it was in 2016. It's not like it was in 2017. It's not like it was 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. It's not good like the past few years. It has not been great. They're going to have to find a way to call up women from NXT, make their roster good again, make their roster book better matches, main event more pay per views. You know, since we got Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Hell in a Cell in the main event 2016, not like Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, the main event of WrestleMania 35. We have not gotten important women's storylines in WWE in a while. And the only thing they've done important with their women so far is Rhea Ripley, the SmackDown Women's Champion. Rhea Ripley is the only important person that WWE can push right now from the women's division. She's basically the China of this era. People can disagree, but she is the China of this generation of wrestling in WWE right now. So basically, they're booking her as China, and she plays that part for this era in wrestling. And you know, you had a perfect opportunity to build Raquel Gonzalez, and then you made her Raquel Rodriguez and you threw her on SmackDown, and now you got her smiling, waving, high fiving fans, and flexing her back all the time. So it gets a little bit ridiculous. I mean, Damage Control is complete failure. They were drafted to SmackDown, and now that they're booked on SmackDown, it's a complete failure. So that faction needs to go. WWE is running out of creative ideas with the women's division. We're still getting Bianca and Asuka since WrestleMania 39. They're going to have to really find ways to do better with the women's division. Um, Overall, that those are my opinions on that. Um, but yeah, it's kind of not the best time for that women's division, I feel. Um, it was interesting seeing Jade Cargill in AEW and Bianca Belair in WWE, but two separate promotions, lose their titles the same weekend. That was shocking, seeing Bianca lose to Asuka, which is what I wanted, and that was perfect booking. And it was also interesting seeing Jay Cargill drop the TBS championship at AEW Double or Nothing. So, with this AEW Collision thing, July 21st, June 21st, it's being reported that CM Punk is returning to AEW on AEW Collision. So I'm guessing with this AEW Collision, this is basically a separate brand or brand split, similar to what WWE has done over the years, having one brand being AEW Dynamite and Rampage, and then AEW Collision kind of being its own another show, another brand, part of that company. So I'm guess another product, part of that brand or whatever. Um, this is basically a good idea. I mean, you're separating Punk from the Elite since the AEW Fallout brawl out in Chicago. So this makes sense to have him on Collision. There'll probably be a new main event title on Collision, just like the AEW World Heavyweight Championship on Dynamite and Rampage. So we're getting Dynamite, Rampage, Elevation Dark, and AEW Collision. Um, this is awesome, kind of awesome. I have no problem with this AEW Collision thing. I think this is a good move. But yeah, if you're gonna have Tony Khan been making announcements every week leading up to this, we knew that there was speculation Puck was coming back, and he's coming back to Collision, so this is a good move. But yeah, so stay tuned for AEW Collision because it's coming soon, and on TBS or TNT or one of those. I believe Samoa Joe was advertised. Punk has been rumored. Um, yeah, Jake Carter. There's been a lot of rumors of who will be on Collision and on their roster, but Samoa Joe CM Punk feud would be perfect for AEW Collision. If they're going to be on the same brand in AEW. So yeah. Well, this has been a great episode of Let's Talk Wrestling, Money in the Bank booking. We talked Baron Corbin and NXT. Talked a little bit of AEW news, AEW Collision, the return of CM Punk, Jay Cargo dropping the title, the TBS Championship. Kind of pretty much covered it a little bit tonight. Just wanted to kind of go over some things here on Let's Talk Wrestling for the intelligent wrestling fans, not the stupid wrestling fans, not the idiot wrestling fans, for the intelligent wrestling fans. I've been watching for years, and I call myself an intelligent booker, and I'm an intelligent wrestling fan. I know how to book this product. I know how to book this sport. So in professional wrestling, we know how to book wrestling in this entertainment brand. It's called Perfect Good Booking. I like to do a lot of fantasy booking. Join me on YouTube on my channel for another episode of Fantasy Booking. And yes, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, and I'm out.